All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going deep, really deep, into the world of hacking, especially for all of you, and I know you're out there, who are fascinated by where hacking and AI intersect. But hold on tight, because to really understand where we're going, we need to take a trip back to where it all began. And trust me, the origins of hacking, way more interesting than you might think.
Yeah, it's funny. When you say hacking these days, people immediately think of cybercrime and data breaches.
Right, like some Hollywood movie scene with lines of code zipping across the screen.
Exactly. But the reality, at least where it started, it's about as far from that image as you can get. The early days of hacking were really about curiosity more than anything else. Like this inherent human need to push boundaries and explore the unknown.
So not so much about stealing information, but more about figuring out what these new machines, these computers, could actually do.
Exactly. We're talking like the 1960s and 70s, those massive room-sized computers. Think like MIT, those early computer labs. These were like the Wild West of tech. And the folks tinkering around in those labs, they were pioneers in their own right.
So instead of six shooters and horses, we're talking punch cards and algorithms.
Exactly. And this wasn't malicious, not at all. It was more like digital craftsmanship almost, a desire to understand how things worked, how to make them work better, even if it meant bending the rules a bit.
So who were some of these OG hackers? Do any names come to mind? Any legends from those early days?
Oh, tons. But one group that always stands out is the Tech Model Railroad Club at MIT. Picture this. A bunch of students, totally obsessed with model trains, but they also have access to like the most advanced computers of their time.
Okay, now that's a combination I wasn't expecting. Model trains
Right.
and hacking. What's the connection there?
Well, they started experimenting, seeing if they could control the trains with code. And that right there, that playful exploration, that's the essence of early hacking.
Wow, that's actually pretty clever. So instead of like taking a screwdriver to the train engine, these guys are rewriting the rules with code.
Exactly. And you see that same spirit, that drive to solve problems and find elegant solutions, even today in what we call white hat hacking. These are the good guys, the ethical hackers, who use their skills to make systems more secure.
So we've gone from tinkering with model trains to an entire field dedicated to cybersecurity. That's quite a leap.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, things took a bit of a turn, right?
It's like anything else, right? Someone builds something amazing, pushes the boundaries of what's possible, and then, well, someone else figures out how to, bend those boundaries a little too far. As computers became more common, more central to our lives, the stakes just got higher.
Makes sense. More computers, more data, more to protect, and unfortunately, more to exploit. So when did things really start to shift? When did hacking go from this kind of harmless curiosity to something, well, a bit more serious?
You can almost pinpoint it to the moment personal computers became, well, personal. Suddenly, it wasn't just about accessing information, it was about accessing your information, your data, your identity, your financial life. And that's when the bad guys start to see the potential.
And that's where we get the whole black hat hacker image, right? The ones driven by greed, by malice, the
Yeah.
ones who give hacking a bad name.
Right. The 80s and 90s saw a real surge in hackers motivated by personal gain. Money, power, or sometimes just plain old chaos. And as more and more of our lives went digital, the potential for disruption, for real-world damage, it just exploded.
So we're not talking about harmless pranks anymore. We're talking about real consequences. Do you think there's a specific event, a particular moment in time that really drove that point home?
There's one case that always comes to mind. The case of the 414s. It goes back to 1983. This group of, get this, teenagers.
Teenagers. Wait, hold on. We're talking about kids skipping school to hack into computer systems back then. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. And these kids, they were good. They managed to break into over 60 computer systems, including some pretty high-profile targets.
Like what could they even access back then? Government systems, banks.
You'd think it was just kids messing around, right? But these guys, they got into systems at places like Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Los Alamos. You're kidding. The place that deals with like nuclear research,
Yeah.
top secret stuff.
And this was back when most people barely even knew how to turn on a computer.
Exactly. It was a huge wake-up call for everyone. These were just kids, barely old enough to drive, and they exposed just how vulnerable these supposedly secure systems really were. That's kind of terrifying when you think about it, like something straight out of a movie, except this was real life.
Oh, absolutely. And it was a turning point. The 414s, their little hacking spree, it forced everyone to take cybersecurity seriously because it showed that the bad guys, they don't have to be masterminds in hoodies. They could be anyone, even a bunch of teenagers with too much time on their hands.
So we've gone from playful exploration with model trains to teenage hackers breaking into top secret government facilities, and all of that before AI even enters the picture, right? Because once AI comes onto the scene, things get even more complicated.
I know, right? It's like we've crossed over from the real world into some like sci-fi thriller. Except this is the real deal. AI is changing the game for both sides, the good guys and the bad guys. And honestly, it's kind of hard to tell who to root for sometimes because it's AI. You hit the nail on the head there. It's a double-edged sword, this AI thing. It's a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used to build amazing things or, well, to cause some serious damage. And the scary part is it's getting more powerful every single day.
Okay, so let's break it down. Let's talk about the good guys first. How are cybersecurity experts using AI to, keep us safe in this increasingly complex digital world? 'Cause let's face it, it's not like one person sitting at a computer can monitor everything going on these days.
You're telling me we're talking about networks so vast, so much data flying around, it would make your head spin. That's where AI comes in. Imagine an army of digital detectives working 24/7, sifting through mountains of data, looking for even the tiniest little clue that something's off.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good analogy. So AI is like our early warning system, detecting threats before they even become, well, threats.
Exactly. And not just detecting, but analyzing, predicting. AI can learn from past attacks, identify patterns, and anticipate what those bad guys might try next. It's like having a crystal ball for cyber attacks.
That sounds almost too good to be true. But I guess what works for the good guys can also work for, well, the not so good guys, right? How's AI being used on the dark side of things?
Think about those phishing emails everyone hates. The ones that try to trick you into clicking a bad link or giving away your password. Now, imagine an AI that can write those emails, not just any emails, but emails that are perfectly crafted to trick you specifically.
Wait, hold on. So it's like AI learning how to exploit my own personal weaknesses. That's kind of creepy.
It's more than creepy, it's happening right now. And it's not just phishing. We're talking about malware that can change its own code to avoid detection, or AI that can find and exploit vulnerabilities in systems faster than any human ever could.
So instead of a guy in a hoodie, we're talking about lines of code powered by AI that can launch attacks on a massive scale. Is there any way to even keep up with that?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Staying one step ahead in this constant arms race. But here's the good news. AI, it's only as good as the data we feed it. That means we need to be smart. We need to train these systems on ethical data, make sure they're built with the right safeguards. Like, yeah, we're giving them power, but we're also teaching them how to use it responsibly.
So it's not just about building smarter AI, but about building better AI.
Exactly. And that's a responsibility that falls on all of us, not just the tech geniuses out there. It's about having conversations, asking tough questions, making sure that this incredible technology, this AI, is used to make the world a safer place, not a more dangerous one.
Well, there you have it, the story of hacking. From those early days of curiosity and exploration to the age of AI, where the lines between good and evil, right and wrong, can get blurry. It's a story that's still being written, and honestly, it's a story that affects each and every one of us. So the next time you hear about a data breach or a new AI breakthrough, remember, it's not just about the technology, it's about us. It's about the choices we make and the future we're building together. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of hacking and AI. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.